It is a classic AFC North battle with some importance in the standings. Steelers at Browns. We'll talk about it on DJ Football next. He's Daniel Jeremiah of the NFL Network. I'm Ryan Brown. This is DJ Football. Steelers, Browns in an AFC North battle. And the show presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. And they will match your initial deposit at 50%, a 50% bonus up to $1,000 when you sign on with code next round at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, MyBookie.ag. DJ, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to a fun slate of games this weekend, including a huge divisional game in a division that we've already discussed we feel is the best in the NFL and maybe the most muddied here as everybody's kind of clumped together.
Well, Cleveland did the entire division a favor by going to Baltimore and getting that win last week. So now you've got these two teams, Steelers, Browns. The Browns a 4-point favorite at home, both 6-3, both one game behind Baltimore. It was an important win for Cleveland, who's had some key wins this year, to go to Baltimore and get that win and keep the Ravens within arm's length of the rest of that division.
Yeah, and they did it, with physicality on the defensive side of the ball. You look at the numbers, they don't really tell the story when you look at the points scored. They beat up the Ravens a little bit at the line of scrimmage and then forced some key turnovers. They got a turnover, ended up being a pick six. I think it was Newsome who ended up house calling it. But that was key in that ball game for them to go on the road and slow down the Ravens enough to get out of there with a win. And then you look on the other side of it against Pittsburgh, and I was joking with somebody the other day. I said it feels like we're all talking about Cincinnati and Baltimore as the two teams that are kind of jockeying for position to win this division. And I feel like it's like a race, like you're watching a NASCAR race and they're rubbing up against each other, and all of a sudden the Pittsburgh Steelers just going on the inside of the track and sneak by all of them and get all the way down to the checkered flag because they have mastered the art of uglying it up and finding a way to win ball games. And now they're running the football, something that they had struggled with previously with that defense. And now they got a run game. That's a dangerous team.
Well, you kind of answered the question I was about to ask you. I mean, they're minus 26 in scoring differential.
It doesn't add up.
It doesn't. And I think, have they still been outgained every game? I mean, it's wild.
It might be. Yeah.
But
it's ugly and messy, and it's just the way the Steelers love to do it.
Yeah, I think at one point they've been outgained every game this year. They're minus 26 in scoring differential, yet they've won 4 of their last 5. I mean, the numbers do not make sense here for Mike Tomlin.
No, they've got timely turnovers. I think back to that Ravens game where they got the interception from Joey Porter Jr. in the end zone that would have probably put the game away for the Ravens, and then that changed the course of that one. The key to me watching this game, or really watching the last 2 weeks, is Broderick Jones, finally being put into the lineup and taking over the right tackle position. Has single-handedly ignited the run game. I think they had 8 explosive runs, and I think he was the key block on 6 of them, whether it was front side, him mauling people, whether it was backside, him making a very athletic cutoff block. But look, he was a first-round pick out of Georgia for a reason. It's an offensive line that's been rebuilt over the last couple years in Pittsburgh. Isaac Samalo came over from the Eagles. He's playing really well at guard, and they're giving Najee Harris a runway. He's a runway runner. And then you've got Warren, who's got more juice. So they found a little something here right now. Kenny Pickett's still not passing the eye test. It's not the prettiest thing in the world with their passing game. But, I mean, I think Mike Tomlin knows the formula, the defense they have, and if they can complement that with the run game, don't go to the refrigerator. The game's over. I mean, their games go by fast.
Well, I mean, and you mentioned Kenny Pickett. I just go back to that San Francisco season opener when they didn't get a first down until the 2-minute warning. Yeah, a 2-minute warning in the first half, their first down. And, I mean, from where he was in that game to where he is now, he may not be great, but he's a lot better.
Yeah, caretaker, game manager, conservative,
all the insults.
Yeah, whatever term you want to use there that people will view as a negative. I always go back to this, man. Like every team's got a different formula, and the bad teams never figure out what their formula is. The average team know what the formula is, but they can't duplicate it, and the great teams know what they are, who they are, and they can do it every single week. And I think we've seen over a couple of weeks now, the Steelers, they know who they are. They're going to be physical. They're going to run the ball. Hopefully that pays off with a shot down the field. You can get some explosive plays to the pass game, but then they're going to turn you over on defense. They're going to hit your quarterback, and they're going to make the game just kind of these ugly, muddy, messy games, which they're very comfortable in.
And you know what? Mike Tomlin's never going to have a losing record.
No, that's not happening. Yeah.
Nope, never going to have a losing record. Not that guy. We'll talk about the Browns side of this as the Steelers get ready to take on the Browns. The Browns a 4-point favorite in this game coming up on Sunday. Both teams at 6-3 in the AFC North. A reminder, DJ Football presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. Get that sign-on bonus. They'll give you a 50% bonus up to $1,000 when you use code next round. And signing on at MyBookie.ag. You can play parlays. They got game squares, player props, everything at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, MyBookie.ag. Also, Manscaped.com. This in my hand is the Handyman. It is a travel razor that takes great care of you no matter where you are, gives you a good shave. They've also got the Beard Hedger, which the guard is a dial guard. You can dial it up from 0 to 9.5, doesn't pop off so that you don't gap your beard and have to shave the whole thing off. They've got the Weed Whacker, takes care of the nose hair and the ear hair, and DJ's favorite item there. They have got the lawnmower, which takes care of your undercarriage and your entire body.
That was my drum roll, in case you didn't know that.
It's a very silent drum roll there.
Yeah.
That is at manscaped.com. They also got great boxer shorts, great men's products. Christmas around the corner. Drop that hint to the wife. Manscaped.com. If you're one of the ladies watching DJ Football, I know you love us. Great gift idea for that loved one in your life. Manscaped.com. And because you're watching this show, DJF20 gets you 20% off your initial order at manscaped.com. Code DJF20 for 20% off your initial order.
Leave a comment, by the way, if you could. Leave a comment if you enjoy Ryan using the word undercarriage as much as I do. I just want to see if I'm not alone. I'd like to hear some comments on that.
If you like my usage of the word undercarriage, leave a comment and give us a thumbs up on YouTube too. So we'll know by all the thumbs up in the comments that you like the use of the word undercarriage. You have sung the praises of this Cleveland defense and what Jim Schwartz has been able to do. Specifically, it started with that San Francisco game where for the first time we saw Brock Purdy, and Kyle Shanahan look lost in a football game. First time in quite a while. They've had to win some shootouts too, though. Indianapolis and Baltimore were games where the scoring was in the 30s and they had to play offense. Where do you want to start? You want to start offense or defense with Cleveland?
Well, I mean, I think it's encouraging what you saw from Deshaun Watson last week. He's starting to look a little more comfortable. I still don't see the same, explosiveness with him that we saw in some of his earlier years, but at least there's progress. They're getting better there. He's getting more comfortable. So that was encouraging from an offensive standpoint. The defensive standpoint, even when they're giving up points, it's almost like a boxer where I feel like they're constantly hitting you. And then what happens is that leads to these mistakes late in the game where, Baltimore's doing well. They're running up the scoreboard, making some plays. Odell Beckham, high flying act. And all of a sudden, then it's just, you turn the ball. What happened? Like, they've just been hitting your quarterback the whole day. They've been physical with you. And eventually it leads to a big mistake. And that's what's happened in some of these games and how they've been able to prevail.
Go back to that Monday night game when Nick Chubb is laying on the field and you knew it was a serious injury. Had you told me this team could be 6-3, 9 games in without Nick Chubb, I don't think I would have believed you.
No, especially not having seen it from Deshaun Watson. We just haven't seen him as a fit necessarily in this offense and this system. He doesn't look like the same guy. And so now you take away the heartbeat of their team, not just their offense and Nick Chubb. I think we all adjusted our expectations, but I do think, Myles Garrett is not a human being. I mean, like he's superhuman. And so he's able to single-handedly wreck some things and change games, which he's done throughout the year. And the rest of this roster has some depth. I think the other thing is, Ryan, when you look at it, good offensive line, good defensive front. You're in games, man. You're not going to be – the game doesn't get away from you when you're really good at the line of scrimmage, and that's how they built that team. It's a credit to Andrew Berry for the job he's done. Yeah,
these are two teams, Steelers and Browns, that are built a lot alike, aren't they? I mean, it's the
same I think the Browns are ahead of them in terms of the offensive line and that building process. I think the Steelers have just kind of got that part going, and you're starting to see some fruits of their labor, but it's not yet to that level. It's working towards that.
It was such a fascinating weekend in that division last week. Surprising loss by Cincinnati to Houston. And Cleveland, again, keeping Baltimore within arm's reach for both them and Pittsburgh. This is going to be a fascinating division down the stretch.
It's like going to a game if you go to a sporting event and during a break in the action and they put like the 4 horses up on the Jumbotron and pick your horse, and then they kind of change who's leading as you go throughout the whole. That's the AFC North.
That is the AFC North. That's a great way of describing it. All right, so it is Steelers at Browns. Browns 4-point favorite. coming up Sunday in Cleveland. DJ Football presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. Get that sign-on bonus of 50% up to $1,000 when you use code next round at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Also, Manscaped.com. All the great products, the handyman, the beard hedger, the weed whacker, and the lawnmower that takes care of the undercarriage right there at Manscaped.com. Because you watch this show, DJF20. Get you 20% off your initial order at Manscaped.com. That is code DJF20. He is Daniel Jeremiah of the NFL Network, and this is DJ Football.